If you have found yourself in a place that feels confined or uncomfortable, if you feel as though there's a block or a hindrance despite constant confirmation that this is your time and your season, this is for you. God is saying this is your time to be birthed. You are in birthing position. As a woman's pregnancy comes to an end, the baby constantly becomes more and more confined, causing the baby to become less active. A couple weeks ago, I asked God, why does it seem like nothing is happening? He's been relating my deliverance to childbirth and had me to read up on the weeks leading up to a baby being delivered. Researchers have found that during the last few weeks of pregnancy, the baby is sleeping about 95% of the time, and when it is time, labor will be activated. Oftentimes, you hear people say things like, the baby will come when it's ready, or the baby must not want to come out yet, but nothing can stop or start labor other than God calling forth life. About a week later, I started hearing the sound of water gushing, which I knew represented the birth of a baby. I then had a vision of myself standing in what appeared to be a tunnel. I was tightly confined with absolutely no room to move. I stood still, staring down the tunnel. There was a really small exit way that let in light. I felt really eager to jump, but there was a sense of peace over me, knowing that I would be called forth at the appointed time. All of a sudden, I felt as though it was my time to jump, and I began sliding down the tunnel, which represented a birth canal. There was a gush of water quickly pushing me forth as it passed, I felt it replenishing and restoring me. It was as though it was nurturing me. I then plopped on the ground of a wide open field. The field was as wide as the eye could see. It was filled with beautiful, luscious green grass and beautiful flowers, absolutely nothing like what I've seen on earth. God gave me another vision pertaining to birth. He was sitting in a hospital bed holding me. I was wrapped up in a blanket and snuggled against him. The amount of peace, warmth, and love I felt in that moment was unimaginable. He smelled so sweet smelling, just absolutely perfect. I looked up into his eyes, and he had a huge bright smile on his face. He had tears in his eyes as he looked down on me, his creation. God wants us to know that our deliverance will happen at the set appointed time. As impatiently eager as we are, God is that much more eager to reveal his creation. He wants it to be clear that this temporary stagnation is not the result of the enemy, and you did not cause this yourself. It is a purposed rest. God says that our deliverance is the key to unlock his goodness in our lives. On the other side of it, things will begin to overflow, just like a baby who God has called forth. Nothing can stop it. You are in waiting because God has went before you, preparing your path, and when he reaches back to grab your hand, you will spring forth, catapulting into your destiny. I hear acceleration and recompense. What took someone else 12 years will take you 12 days. What someone else had to build from the ground up, God has ready-made. Your labor has not been in vain. In fact, it has ordained you to walk in God's favor. You will be drenched in God's glory for the world to see. God will take you from a lowly place and sit you amongst the great. When he calls you forth, who can stop it?